All right. Afterwards, old girl shut down.
Uhuru! Uhuru! Welcome to the victory party for this powerful, tireless, and amazing candidate, Columbi. We should learn the results of today's elections, and we'll announce that as we go on. But right now, we want to salute our leadership, Chairman O'Malley Yeshitela, who is the leader of the African People's Socialist Party, and who we will be hearing from later. We also want to salute Deputy Chair Oma Zaneti Yeshitela, who is the director of the Black Blueprint and who leads all of our economic work. And this has been an incredible journey. It started last October with the announcement of the Uhuru Movement candidates, T'Challa Masimba, and Cordosha Columbi Bentham. Our slogan was 2 candidates, 1 movement, and for Ward 21 with T'Challa Masimba, Black is back. 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 And in Ward 3 with Columbi, Revolutionary Times. Revolutionary Solution. Revolutionary Times. Revolutionary Solution. All right. In these past months, we knocked on thousands of doors with our platform of reparations to the African community. We called the people, we've had a parade, and we fought tirelessly for those who want to try to stop us. And guess what? We still winning. We are winning. We are winning. We are winning. We are winning. We have found an outpouring of support and unity for this platform from the beautiful people in the African community in North St. Louis, in Ward 3 and Ward 21. We salute you. If you're watching us on Facebook, we salute you. And we thank you. And we look forward to working with you in this community as we go forward together to make history and continue to put power in the hands of the African people. Say, power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! We're going to open our program tonight with our Uhuru Movement fight song by our talented comrade, and our chairman calls her a maestro. And so this fight song is by Comrade Elikia Ngoma.
Africa, we are winning. Shout Uhuru for our freedom. We are winning. We'll dance and sing songs when revolution's won. We are winning. Africa. Fannie Lou and Malcolm too. We are winning. Remember our struggle, always be true. We are winning. From Harlem to Brazil to Azania. We are winning. We fight and live for a free Africa. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Freedom, organization, socialist world, our creation. 1 billion strong, yes, we are one. We are winning. Patrice Lumumba's life won't be in vain. We are winning. Keep up the work in Marcus Garvey's name. We are winning. Independent and free is what we will be. We are winning. Africa will bask in our victory. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Freedom, organization, socialist world, our creation. 1 billion strong, yes, we are one. We are winning.
Yes. We want to thank Comrade Alikia for that fight song. That song was written with the help of the chairman and SG Luezi Kashasa. And we just want to salute them. Every time we hear that song, it gets us pumped up and ready to go. So we want to thank you, Comrade Alikia. And now we would like to have another round of applause for an amazing video that we're getting ready to show you. It is a summation video of what has gone on with these two campaigns. Uhuru.
So if you haven't already heard, Black is back. Can I hear you say Black is back?
No resources can come to this community because $12 billion in tax breaks are given to white developers who want to make St. Louis white again. So we have a platform. And at the top of this platform is reparations to the black community. We build the black power movement in this community.
But her life story is a story of survival and triumph. And my name is Chimarenga Waller. I'm really proud to be the campaign manager for Odocha Kalambayi Benton.
Well, it's time for the can't-do people to move out the way so the can-do people can rise and stand up and fight back. Oh, yes! And it's a righteous demand to say that we demand reparations. Reparations to the black community. And I'm willing to take on the fight by any means necessary for my people. community, but the whole community. The poor, the workers, the peasants, everybody in the 3rd Ward, and for that matter, the whole North Side.
But my opponent does not have the courage or the propensity to declare war on the system. Instead, he declares it on the people. A process designed to take the properties of the black community and push us out so the St. Louis can become white again. That is the reality. If you don't pay to play this game, you cannot do for this community. They push us out. They isolate us. They slander us. This is who I fight for.
We're in this case to make sure that Bosley's not going to be able to bully Herdoja out of a race, and he's not going to be able to deny the people their choice.
I refuse to be intimidated.
Yes. Yes.
We are winning.
We are winning. Black is back.
Black is back.
Black is back.
Black is back.
If I can say it this time, goddamn, black is back. Yeah. Yeah. Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary
times.
Revolutionary
All right. We want to salute that amazing video. And now it is my honor to bring on Chimaranga Salem-Bowell, who has done an amazing job as a campaign manager for Columbia. We really want to salute his tireless work and his leadership. Chimaranga is going to sum up the campaign and the victories of it, and he's also going to introduce Isaiah Masimba, who served as a campaign manager for the Black is Back campaign.
Uhuru, I first want to appreciate that great introduction. And this campaign has been one of historic proportions. We came into this campaign knowing we were up against a 44-year dynasty, political dynasty in the Bosleys, a dynasty that is characterized by dirty tricks and corruption. And we took it on. We took it on with a great candidate, Herdoja Benton, and we just, every aspect of the campaign was taken on, including fundraising, and Zay will be saying something about all the donors. But I just want to say, one, we knocked on more than 2,000 doors in Ward 3. More than 980 people were able to say, yes, I'm going to vote for Columbia. And while we probably know that that 980 did not vote, our primary objective of building a social movement is well underway. Building a social movement is our primary objective in this election. Winning, of course, was number two. I think the African People's Socialist Party has shown the way for other organizations, for other candidates, what they should be about as far as their platform is concerned. We made thousands of phone calls to get support for Kalambayi, endured dirty tricks, getting our campaign office shut down, getting sued by Bosley, other kind of dirty tricks, people calling the police on our supporters. And we survived and we thrived. And I'm most impressed by our candidate, Herdosha Kalambayi Bentham, who is just the most resilient person that I have ever known. She recently lost her grandmother, and I want to give condolences to her whole family. But 2 days after the loss of her grandmother, her mother and her sister were out there knocking on doors. And I believe that is a statement about the stance, not only of Kalambayi, but her whole family, and how the energy and excitement of Black people getting power energized the whole North Side. And I would be remiss if I didn't give a salute to Chairman Omali Yeshitela, who was the brain trust to help bring this about, guiding it all the way. I was just the physical instrument on the ground. And I think that our supporters, our ground team, our field operations team, our phone banking team, just some of the best forces that you could ever want, just dedicated, relentless, and continuing to fight until the very end. We haven't seen the results yet, but we know that the one result is that we are well on our way to building a social movement. And that's where we were trying to go. So Kalambayi is now a household word on the North Side, and her face will be the face of fighting for a new reality in Ward 3, a new reality on the North Side, a reality fighting for reparations through getting control of the Land Reutilization Authority and reimagining it as the Land Reparations Authority, and distributing more than 2,000 abandoned houses and renovating them and distributing them to the African community who don't own homes. So our accomplishments are so many, I can't even name them all, including enduring all the attacks, political attacks that came from our opponent. But today, I think, is a day that we salute our great candidate. We salute the leaders of the African People's Socialist Party internationally as well, because the whole party, and when I say whole party, I mean every international member of the African People's Socialist Party, every national member, put their hearts and soul into this election, and just gave everything they could to this election. I don't want to talk long, but I believe that this is worth saying. It's important to say what this meant for the African nation. The African nation is one step closer to revolution, which is the true solution for African people getting their freedom and total liberation. This election, believe it or not, has brought us one step closer. We have a base of 900 and some people to start from. The day after this election, that's when the real work starts to build that social movement, to consolidate that social movement. We're going to be working on that. And if I needed to be back in St. Louis, I'll have to pack my bags. I just don't want you to bring me here in the wintertime. So other than that, I just want to again thank Herdosha Kalambayi Bentham for her courageous stance and such a great fight in this election. Chairman Omali Yeshitela, DC owner Zanae Yeshitela, who really helped us send the fundraising through the roof, and every volunteer every phone banker that we have. I just want to salute them and say revolutionary times, revolutionary solutions. Uhuru. So,
Hey, we won the third ward. Let me tell you why. Because we won the people. That's what we started out to do. We won the people. We won the people to unity with us. We won the people to the belief that they can have power that they didn't think they had before. The people that came into this movement as a result of this process is phenomenal. We won Ward 3. Say we won Ward 3.
We won Ward 3.
Yes. And so now we want to hear a summation of the campaign work. Even further, we're going to call on Conrad and Zaid Masimba to recognize our donors and our volunteers.
So really want to appreciate chairman and deputy chair and the leadership that they provided during this campaign. Both of the campaigns, this has been tremendous. Just even thinking like, I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow when I wake up. This has been, so this has been life. Eat, breathe, sleep, the work in this campaign. So just really want to salute their diligence and just the constant advice and always keeping African nationalism at the forefront of everything that we do. So just want to also salute all of the very important volunteers and donors that helped to build this campaign. And we salute the people's movement. So to every donor, to every volunteer, to every voter, we say thank you. We salute you. This is your movement. So just want to, again, give a special shout out to the donors. And I'm going to go one by one and list them all because they are very special. And we thank them all. So we have Aaron Giddings, the African People's Socialist Party, Ahmad Khalif, Aisha Fields, Akile Anai, Alexandra Manofu, Allison Honey, Ali Aiello, Amanda Carlozzi, Amoy Allure LLC, Ann Lipton, Anna Gennari, Ann Hirsch, Anya Fisher, Austin Perkins, Azim Aziz, Bakari Olatunji, Basil Butcher, Benjamin Balthasar, Benjamin Prado, Brendan Boyle, Bridget Kennedy, Brodus Williams, Kara Locke, Carmen Alexander, Katrina Jones, Charles Barron, Charles Collins, Charles Walker, Chia Kotanskua, Chimaranga Silambayo, Christopher Gladney, Crystal Gates, Clarence Davidson, Claudette Yavrum, sorry if I'm messing up your name, Claudia Salazar, Daniela Amaya, Danielle Davis, Daryl Bakersfield, David Randolph, Deidre Martin, Denzel Drawn, Diane Tarnay, Donna Nassar, Edith Armstrong Curtis, Alikia Ngoma, Eliarmenia Casanova Atkins, Eric Carbajal, Erica Zemal, Ernie McCrae, Fofi Akibalon, Franklin Moses, France Fat, Grace Swan Steepy, Grady Brown, Holly Murray, Henry Ziegler, Holly McHugh, Akimba Balanta, Akimba O'Hore, in Pedum, New York City, Jackson Hollingsworth, Jamal Abagast, James Hart, James Strickland, Jamie Wilson, Jeanette Van Fleet, Janice Kent, Jasper Myers, Jesse Neville, Johan Beddingsfield, John McMasters, Juan Mendiola, Julia Riccardi, Justin Sims, Kemu, Kabula, Tumbo, Casey Mackey, Kia Siegel, Kingozi Benamu, Kitty Riley, Kristen Weber, Kundai Bajikai, Kumba Nia, Kyle Nelson, Kyle Wise, Larissa Scales, Larry Fellows, Laura Brown, Leah Fifield, Lynn Dimmer, Lisa Watson, Logan Motoon, Mads Ambrose, Makeda, Malika Alexander, Mara, Ratu, Maria Ortiz, Marissa Martinez, Matope Inyungu, Matsamela Odom, Matum Inyobi, Maureen Wagner, Mayretha Baker, Megan Spencer, Mel Quintos, Melissa from Impedum Philly, Melissa Jones, Michael Parker Jr., Nicholas Davis, Inyundu Inyungusha, Omalia Shatella, Onazanea Shatella, Oronde Shakur, Paul Kessler, Paula Rubin, Penny Hess, Ralph Pointer, Renee Nassar, Raya Fogarty, Roger Clending. I think I messed that one up. Sorry, Roger Clendening. Ronald Hudson, Ruby Gittleson, Samantha Day, Sandra Ramirez, Sandra Thompson, Santosh, Sarah Edwards, Sarah Rittersbach, Stephanie Midler, Stephen Weber, Stephen Swaggart, Susan Mortimer, Tasha Smalling, TAP Solutions, Tara Tien, Tariq Asfor, Taylor Mock, Timba Tasha Banda, Theodore Andrews, Thomas Buchanan, Tachara Masimba, Tiffany Murphy, Tavita Stovall, Tunisha Hopkins, Tyler Schnissenmeyer, Uhuru Solidarity, Umifa Earth, Vernon McDaniel, Vincent Bonds, Virginia Watson, Wally Abdur Rahman, Wendy Craig, Yamone, Yara Flynn, Yesterday Armila, and Zanlile and Pico. So I apologize if I mispronounced your name, but really want to salute all of the donors. We, because of you, we were able to raise $21,314. So salute to all of our donors and thank you. Uhuru. We also want to salute our volunteers. Not just because, I will be like, because of, for the sake of time, I want to shorten names, but also because I don't want to mess up people's name like I just did for the other list. So I am not going to read the full name, but again, do want to salute all of the volunteers. So I'll just read the first name, last initial. Abdullah M, Adisa D, Adrian S, Amanda C, Amaris S, Andrea H, Angelica M, Anya F, Ashanti I, Ashley M, Barbara E, Bianca J, Bridget K, Candace S, Candy, Charles C, Chimaranga S, Chris B, Christina G, Connor M, Crystal, Damon W, Daniel T, Dave H, Denzel D, 4 Feet A, J Love, James W, Jason W, J, Jelani, Jamila B, Jesse N, Jordan F, Josh, KC, Kyle W, Nick D, Kamu K, KCM, Kimberly B, Kitty R, Kobina B, Courtney H, Kumba N, Kyle L, Larry L, Lip, Lyndon, Mads A, Makeda B, Malika, Mwambi T, Nze M, Ali W, Penny H, Quentin, Sam M, Sheila, Takuma, Timba T, Tachara M, Tiffany, Taiwan, Vincent, Wanda C, Yafe, Iemone F, Yvonne S, Zaki B, and Zanzile M. And a special shout out to our video team that always came through, and that's Ashley, Rebecca, Kyle, Nick, Chiwaniso, and Dexter. So wherever you are, let's give a round of applause for our donors as well as our magnificent volunteers. So without you, the campaigns would not have gone as smoothly. Without you, this process from the primary to the general election with Herdosha Columbi Benson running for alderperson in the 3rd Ward would not have been as successful. So just really want to appreciate all of the hard work, all of the donations. Uhuru, and salute to you all.
And I just want to say a word about Conrad and Zadie. Because you didn't even get the half of what this Conrad can do. And what she did in the midst of working with this team. I want to salute Conrad and Zadie. This is I've never seen anything like it. And we all have had the benefit of her work and her putting the processes in order for us to get done what we need to get done. And you know when somebody can do something and they just do it like, okay, you know, and just get it done. That organization is because largely in Davidson. And now we'll have a summation of the field outreach. And this team was led by Comrade Justin Neville. And we're going to hear from Timbo Shabanda, Daniel Taco, and Makeda Baraka, who's going to tell us about phone banking. Uhuru.
Uhuru.
My mask off. Uhuru. I just want to really salute all the entire field team. I want to salute Jesse Neville for his leadership and really getting us organized. Bringing us, really bringing the organization to us. We was able to, once he came on board, it was just acting, carrying out the work, and little thinking and just going out there and getting the yes vote. So I really want to appreciate Jesse Neville for his major role in this tremendous field team work. So let's give it up for him. And secondly, I want to just appreciate the entire field team who's out there every single day. Every single day, we were out there. Every single day. And not a day was missed. We had some dedicated warriors. I like to call them warriors. So very dedicated people out there, and you know, this we want to give the people, you know, give you an understanding of what we did and what happened and how tremendous this work was. So just want to salute the people's champion, Hadosha Columbine Benton. Let's give it up for HKB. HKB. Give it up for HKB. Hadosha Columbine Benton. Most definitely, we finna win. We finna win, y'all. So also we want to salute Chimaranga. Without Chim, you know, this would have been a brainless operation. You know, in many ways, this is the brain and the thoughts and you know the strategy. You know, he's the man. He's the man, most definitely. Yeah. So we want to salute our Chimaranga campaign manager of campaign. All right. And here's the field team. We want to salute the field team. Comrades coming all the way from everywhere. We got comrades coming from other side of the union here, all the top stuff, and have comrades coming from everywhere, all over. So I want to salute Alabama. You know, we are an international organization, so you know we had our people out there, this organization to show our strength and what we can do, and it was just a powerful experience. So here's a summary of what was accomplished, what you accomplished. This is the people's campaign. All right, so we knocked on every door of registered voters in ward, in the ward, over 3,000 doors, at least 3 times each, and some 4 and 5 times, as you will hear from some of the people who phone bank and knocked on the door. They was coming out mad but happy. You know, what I'm saying? Happily mad. So you know, we was doing the dang on thing, and it was just an amazing thing. So we ended up knocking on actually 2,000 doors at minimum, 10,000 doors at minimum, from the very beginning of the campaign, which started in October, and then right now to yesterday. Yesterday we knocked on our very last door, getting yes votes. So I want to salute everyone that participated in that. We made 4,500 phone calls from between the primary and the general election. Phone calls, y'all. Y'all understand we had a list of just really hard numbers that it wasn't really something that we can really rely on, and we did our damnedest to make that list work, and we went out there and the doors that we knocked, we was able to get almost 900 phone numbers as well from those doors that we knocked. So this is the type of movement that occurred just during this process. So we have a database of people that we'll be going to, and it was Chimaranga Loop. We're gonna organize them starting tomorrow. We sent 1,600. So we was, as Chairman said, he taught me a new word. He said we were ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. And if y'all know what that means, y'all can tell me. But that's what we was. Our campaign ad had been viewed, oh my God, 18,706 people viewed this campaign ad on YouTube. So, and that's just so far. We still got some more going. I think people added to today's saves. It seemed like, and then what the crazy part is, that most of the views were straight through. You know how we get on YouTube and want to see our favorite video and the commercial come on and we skip as soon as the 5 seconds go. That didn't happen with us, you know, not with this video. So a lot of people viewed this, so this was very effective. We made 1,300 robocalls. That's a good number. That's a good number. All right. We did 2 direct mailings to 8,200 addresses. Yeah. And we built the People's Movement for reparations to the African community. We built that, y'all. That was something that wasn't here at the beginning of this campaign, and now at the end of this campaign right now, we can say that we have, you know, we're building this social movement. So yeah, let's give y'all a second. And now that I see myself on the screen, it must be time for Daniel to come up and give his. But before that, let me introduce this young comrade. Daniel came in one day, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, thinking he was going to just, you know, volunteer, knock on some doors and just go home and, you know, come back again whenever he wanted to. But that didn't happen. Daniel got bit by the bug of self-determination, of winning, taking his life in his own hand. And he got bit by that bug and he was scratching the bike and he got a big welt and now he here every day. And so we happy that he got bit. So I just want to bring this young 18-year-old comrade up, you know, a giant, truly. I want to thank you.
Yeah, so I showed up here one day, not really sure, you know, what I was getting myself into. But, you know, I came here and I found an amazing group of leaders. And I guess under that amazing leadership and organizational ability, you know, we went out there in the rain, the cold, the heat. You know, we were out there every day, knocking on doors, getting yes votes, phone numbers, names, and the beauty and the genius of the organization was that win or lose, those phone numbers and names were steps forward to the liberation of oppressed people. In that spirit, that I think that really kept us going through, because it wasn't all, you know, it wasn't all easy. Actually, most of it wasn't really easy. We were here pretty early for me, in my opinion. But you know, through the times where we had, you know, some difficulties, you know, reaching people. We were in some areas where they weren't quite as receptive to us. But what kept us going, I think, at least for me, was that thought that every single thing was a little step forward. You know, so I really just want to appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Got to mention he's our youngest member. He's our youngest member of the class.
This is Makeda, and I have been acting as the phone banking coordinator. And just, you know, this has been an amazing process. So my acknowledgement is really one of just extreme appreciation. You know, first of all, I would like to appreciate our leadership in the chairman, Omali Yeshitela, and Deputy Chair Onizane Yeshitela, without whom, none of this would have come to fruition. Just the sheer genius of taking up all the space and creating a movement, creating a social movement from utilizing, political space is really, really a brilliant idea. I also want to appreciate Chimaranga. Man, so I didn't think I would be, even being the phone banking coordinator, I didn't think I'd be this involved. But Chimaranga really has been a dynamic campaign manager and a coach and, kind of mentor. He helped me find my place in this whole process. So I really want to appreciate him and always being there to answer my questions, when I had them, when I was frazzled, my nerves got frazzled from mixing up a bunch of stuff sometimes. It was crazy. But again, Chimaranga was always there. He always helped pull me through. And I want to really appreciate also the amazing candidate that we have in Herdoja Columbi Bentham. Just outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And she made it so easy to be able to, to sell her to the people. I mean, essentially it was just, I'm telling this story about somebody that I know, and I know her intent. So it was just a really amazing process, and really, driving that home was, there was sometimes I was making calls. So it was like, yeah, this is what you do. This is easy. But I really I'm honored to be able to have served in this capacity and be able to put her forth in such a way. I also want to thank the outstanding phone banking committee, beginning with Nze Masimba. Like, what? She was my life preserver in this thing. That those times when I was getting frazzled and Chim had taken her from the one campaign and put her in, and I was like, where have you been all my life? Yeah, and I know this is gonna sound real subjective, but whatever we do in the future, I want to be somewhere near Nze because she's a super woman. She ain't superwoman, but she's a super woman. She's got to feel like an octopus sometimes, but she's absolutely amazing, and I appreciate her so much. Along with all of the outstanding phone bankers who showed up I didn't know who was going to be in phone banking sometimes, and it would be crazy. Like, sometimes they'd be super, proactive, and they'd let me know that they're coming in, but sometimes it just be like, and then I'd have a room full of phone bankers, and it's like, hey, we ain't got enough names here. Let's, as they like to call it, club phone banking. Because that's what we did. We was phone banking every day, and they showed up, and then we had, those who, when we were light on phone bankers, I just want to speak specifically to those who came through, like Comrade Modi, who just kept coming back. She just kept coming back for more. More numbers, more lists, more, So I really want to appreciate her as well, because she was really a trooper. But every last one of them were troopers. That's the only way we could have achieved 4,500 calls between the last election and this general election. Like, that's the only way we could have done as much as what we did. some of them showing up through having, COVID symptoms and just being ill, they still came through. So again, I don't know. And then they were, we appreciate your leadership. I'm like, no, y'all just making me look good. Y'all, it's not me. Y'all doing all the work. As the chairman always says, the workers add all the value, But I so appreciate everyone, and I appreciate being able to be a part of this process. And surely I will be here in the future, to be a part of any other processes that fall into our lap. Anything else that comes to us, I'm here for the next fight. So I just want to say, Uhuru, thank you so much. And, hey, it still ain't over. It still ain't over. It's a social movement. We're here. Uhuru.
It ain't over. 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 Thank you, Field Outreach Team, for those great reports. And now we want to turn the program just a little bit personal and just to recognize some very special people in this process. As Chairman Rango mentioned earlier, we had the parade earlier this month, and during that parade, we were honored and glad to be able to have Columbai's grandmother with us that day. She was able to see the fire and the passion that no doubt came from her and her granddaughter that day. Yeah. And so we are thankful that we had that opportunity for that. And we want to take just a moment and have a moment of silence and then say, long live Mother Ollie Baker. Long live Mother Ollie Baker. And then we also want to recognize Mother Ollie Washington, who is Columbai's mother. Yeah. She was there that day as well, and she was out in the field with Columbai today. So she is not here with us tonight, but Columbai's sister, Tiffany Washington, is here.
Song I really never sang, but I got a song that I want to dedicate to you, Wow. And it goes like this. And if y'all know it, sing along with me. Okay. This little light of mine, hey. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. I just had to, I just really, really appreciate, first I want to give honor to Jesus, because he is the person that's in control of everything, in my opinion. And first I just want to give honor to the party, to Columbai, to everybody that worked hard to make this day happen, for us to, even have something on the ballot that speaks to reparations to the African people. Like, that's so major. We haven't had no one that was brave enough to even go against the Bosleys. And that's what I really appreciate. 7 years ago, my sister was fighting, down there with Mike Brown, and she ran into Sherman. And when Sherman came into her life, it definitely changed everything. And it also changed her family. I never knew anything about an alderman or Ward 3 or any of these things that was going on in our community, which was very important to us. You go through so much in life, sometimes you feel like this is just a way of life. It's nothing that we could do make a difference, you know. And there's so many people that are felons that can't exercise their right to vote. So it even made me just appreciative to even have the right still to be able to vote, you know. And it's just so much that I want to say, but I really want to just take my time so I can get it out. So just bear with me, you know. Even the organization, like I just appreciate the discipline and just the knowledge that chairman, you know, spread to the people, because the U.S. Army, you know, like my dad, he fought in the Vietnam War. It wasn't by his choice. Like a lot of people like to, you know, throw the word color around, you know, to say that the movement is a color, something like that. But to me, I'm not even gonna get on that. But my dad, like I was gonna speak facts, you know, my dad, he fought in the Vietnam War, you know, and he was drafted. He wasn't his will. Right. They put him in, you know, they took him over. He got sprayed with Agent Orange, you know, and basically died from the conditions of being sprayed with Agent Orange and fighting to get the money that he fought for. I'm talking about, it's been times me and my sister thought my dad was gonna go crazy with fighting to get 100%, you know, of his disability, in which he got it probably like a month or so before he died. You know, like, so it took all of that just for him to do it. But one thing that my daddy showed us, that he would never, ever give up. You know, and even going back to my grandmama, you know, Ollie Mae Baker, like my grandmama, she worked in the cotton fields. You know, so I'm just happy because this day is a win for us, that we are even knowing who we are, like my babies. Like, I'm just so grateful that my babies are proud to be Black, you know. Even me, like, you know, I have to die for wanting to be like this social system that I have known all my life, 34 years of life. You know, some people wonder why you want to go get braces, why you want to get a butt job or whatever, but it's because I'm colonialized. I'm, you know, might not say the word right, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, and even in this organization, I might not speak proper. I might not speak like the status quo, but I'm accepted here. And I can. And that's what I'm you don't come from the status quo of the people that have it, but this girl still fought. You know, she's one of the most selfless persons that I know to even take on the community, to even care about her African people. You know, trying to bring back to the community of that it take a village to raise our kids. You know, like I was a part of the organization too, but I stepped away because I'm a single mom, you know, and I couldn't sacrifice, not because I didn't want to, but I couldn't because I had to survive this social system that was built on my back. But I believe in my sister, and I'm so grateful that she was able to take all of us to support for these things to happen, not to sit back and say, oh, her kid is bad, oh, her kids don't got on no new shoes, but come in, jump in, like, let's do what we can. Let's love one another. Let's be proud to be Black, because, you know, a lot of us, you know, we scared to say Black. You know, and what's wrong with it? You know, like, let's stand together, and reparations to the African people, because that's something that we can all agree on, that we all catch hell and we've never been paid for the pain that my grandmother, your grandmother, none of our ancestors went through. And it does matter. If the indigenous people can get their money, we should too.
Tiffany, I don't know. I think that thing kind of running the family. Yes. Well, we're going to keep it in the family. And we're going to hear from someone else that wants to speak about Columbia. We're going to hear from her aunt, Mary Baker.
ask her to start her camera? Can you ask her to start her camera?
Ms. Mary, will you turn your camera on, please? Well, we can't get her on the camera right now, so we'll come back to that. We'll keep trying. But I want to recognize someone else that has been special in this campaign. And we are so honored that he is here with us tonight when we needed an office for the Revolutionary Times, Revolutionary Solutions office. Then he gave us space. He made space for us.
All right.
And
all right.
He's a business owner in the 3rd Ward. And we are so grateful that he took the heat with us. The police knocking on the door, he didn't let that make him back down or make him stop supporting us. It made him actually speak out the more. And so now we would like to welcome to the stage, Kate
Thanks for that ovation. I didn't expect any of this. I didn't know I was speaking. Look, it was an easy decision. When I met Kalambayi and she approached us, and there was a spirit about her that I appreciated. It was something unique. It was something I hadn't seen in the neighborhood. And when she started talking about politics, I'm not a politician. I can't stand politicians. I don't even like anything to do with politics. But she had a vision that I could kind of see. And when I talked to the old man and we decided to support her, we said, win or lose, we're in this fight.
Right on.
We've never been. And it's not because I have a political affiliation or political anything, or I'm a member of the party, but a consciousness tied with her. I appreciate what she was saying and how she was saying it.
Real.
And that was, that's a real recognized real on the streets.
Right on.
So I pretty much recognized the realness there.
Right on, right on.
And I wouldn't be real if I didn't support that. Yeah. So, I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. I was just putting my money where my mouth was. And that's all we can do as Black people, or as people, period. If you believe in something, it might cost you a little something, but you gotta be about something. Yeah. And if you ain't about nothing, well, you might as well go ahead and just die. Yeah. Because there's no point in living. You gotta live for something. So yeah, I didn't do anything special. It doesn't require no ovation. I just went with my own beliefs. That's all. I supported a candidate that I felt was going to do the right thing.
Yes.
Win or lose.
That's what it was. That's
I thank everybody who supported her. And it's a group effort. And whether it's wins or loses, like we said, it's a social movement. It's like a regeneration of something. So now we know that there's hope in the Black community. Yeah. We have people So yeah, and I thank you guys for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you.
Now we'll get to hear from Kalambayi's aunt, Mayretha Baker.
Yes, Uhuru. Amen. I am so proud. I mean, extremely proud of my niece, Herdosha Columbaye Bentham, better known to me as my Peaches. And I'm going to say this, that a tree cannot grow without a seed, and she planted a seed in the community in the third ward. Because you have to change the minds of the people to know they can do better and want better. And she has a passion. Everything that she's ever done in life, cheerleading, whatever it was, she has a passion about it, whether it was doing a fashion show. I mean, she went in it wholeheartedly. And I saw her do the same thing. And I had to, when she talked to me, I had to come on board. And I mean, she has a fantastic support team. And I began to tell my family, she's not out here by herself, but we have to support her. She has a fantastic support system that's in place, not just in words, but in money also. I am so proud to be her aunt. I mean, she makes me so proud. I've told her so many times, I wish you can see yourself through my eyes. Amen. And she has a beautiful heart and a beautiful spirit. I want her to know to keep on keeping on. You have planted a seed in the third ward, and watch it grow. Keep on watering that seed. It is going to grow. You have stepped up to the door that everyone thought was nailed shut, and you dared to turn the knob. And in that, you saw on the other side that you can make change. Keep on making change for your people. Keep on going forward. Keep on pushing. Revolutionary times, revolutionary solutions.
Thank you, Ms. Marita. That was powerful.
Yes.
And if you could see your Peaches right now, she's sitting up here and she's just soaking it all in. But we unite with everything that you said. We see that in her as well. Now I want to bring on another one of our comrades who is powerful in his own right. Who led the fight in Ward 21. Who's been leading the economic development work in Ward 21. Who's been taking on the LRA in Ward 21. The one who can, spit the dagger to you, when you want to talk about stuff, he can give you all the facts and everything like that. This comrade, he can put it down. Okay? So I want to introduce to you, Black is back.
Wow, hooroo. Right here with the Charm Simba, and with your help, we will build this social I really don't even know if I can follow some of the things that have been said. I mean, Tiffany, wow, and then Auntie Marita, just really summing up the significance of not only this candidate that we know as Herdosha Columbaye Bentham, but the significance of this race, this campaign to a people who have been pushed out of political life. And I know we say that, but we are a people who live in an economy that is bled daily, where all of our resources are bled and stolen from us. And that's not just a talking point. The fact is, we don't have the ability to produce life for ourselves. We produce life for somebody else. Yeah. That's the reason why, in real terms, why if you live in certain parts of North St. Louis, you die 18 years sooner than if you live in Clayton and other parts of South and Central St. Louis. It is actual, we hear Chairman O'Malley used to tell us that it is actual life stolen from our people. And with that life being stolen from our people, we have a whole system resting on our backs and teaching us, impossibility all the time, teaching us to blame ourselves all the time. And what we have in the process is people who look like us, who occupy offices, and they make a living by perpetuating the same kind of attack that you see on the Black community. So much so that you even see it now, where if you want to run for office, if you want to run for mayor, then the litmus test for whether you should be allowed to run for office is to declare your willingness to stop so-called crime, meaning that your willingness to make Black people the brunt of all of the problems in society and to declare war on the Black community. That's an actual litmus test that you have to pass for acceptance into the political arena. And what Herdosha Kalumbayi Benson, what this movement through the Uhuru movement has done is we have declared this basic thing is that Black people are good people.
Yeah.
I love just meeting your grandmother. You don't even know. She smiled at me and I saw my mother. I saw my aunties, I saw myself. See, those two goals in my mouth. I saw every Black woman I know and love and whose bosom, who suffered me, from a child to now. Black women. And these are the people producing the Black community. We come from good families. We've been in church most of our lives. Our parents taught us to be moral. Our parents taught us to not only look out for your immediate family, but to love everybody in your family, to be willing to take anybody in, indigent people who cannot do for themselves, people who may have mental illnesses, to take them into our homes. We have traditions of doing that. My grandmother, my great grandmother, my big mama, this is who we are. And if for some reason we see this kind of behavior that is abnormal among Black people in the community, where we commit acts of violence toward other Black people, then that's because something unnatural has been imposed on us. Yeah. And so what we have done through this movement, through this campaign, is to say that you can no longer make a living off of slandering Black people. And when the alderman in this ward, and then the alderman in the third ward that Herdosha Kalumbayi Benson was running against, when they call out the National Guard, when they unite with spending 50 to 60% of the entire general budget of the city on police instead of economic development, when they vote to put spy planes in the air and record the movements 24 hours a day of Black people, then that is unity with the system at the expense of Black people. And it is opportunism and it is war on the Black community. And what we have done is to say that we will lift up the Black community, that we love our people, and that we will fight to bring people back into community life. So it was not easy. It was not easy. We give Kalumbayi a hero's welcome, but we had to be up early in the morning in meetings. We had to complete action items, and we had no idea what would be required of us to run a campaign. We didn't know the basic information. And we certainly didn't know how it is we would stand up in front of crowds of people, go on platforms, social media platforms every day and stand up and tell the truth to people. It was not easy. And one of the things, along with this slander of the Black community, the African community, the African working class, is that they've tried to tell us that we should not have organization. And that something is wrong if you are tied to an organization. And something is wrong if that organization has international scope, and that it has political theory, and that it said that you have to have a political basis for any kind of struggle that you involve yourself or people in. They've attempted to slander us with that, but we have organization. We've given the 3rd ward, the 21st ward, we've given them organization. So we're part of the Uhuru movement. And I want everybody who may be watching this, everybody in the audience to know that you are a member of the Uhuru movement. If we got 250 people to vote for Kalumbayi, if we got 450 people to vote for Kalumbayi, then that's 450 more members of the Uhuru movement. That's what we meant by building a movement. And because our commitment was to build a movement, we don't sacrifice the long-term objectives of the Black community to be free and self-determining. So we put stuff on the agenda that's uncomfortable, and we put stuff on the agenda that can speak to the people who have, in many ways, enough sense to know that this system does not represent their interests. Yeah. So with that, I won't be long. I just want to say that we have to recognize the incredible leadership of Chairman Omali. You should not be afraid of leadership. Do not let them fool you into thinking that you should fight this system alone. You know, I want to recognize Deputy Chair Onazane Ishatella. And I want to recognize Chimaranga. I'm sorry, you start recognizing people you get into this, but Chimaranga Silambao, the campaign manager for Kalumbayi, Elize Masimba, you know, I agree with everything that has been said. I mean, she is a brilliant African person. She is brilliant, you know, so I could not have, she made this thing so much easier for me, you know, to make me look capable and, you know, able to do this. So I just want to really recognize everybody who made this happen. I want us to really recognize all of the new 450 or so members, and those are the people who may have just voted, you know, but there may be 500, 600, 700, 800, 1,000 new members of the Uhuru movement that you have brought in. I want to say thank you. We love you.
And now, I want to bring to the stage the people's champion. Yeah. She's our champion. And she has really taken this on. I can remember when we first started this process, and she's like, but the way that she has developed in this process and the way that she has put her heart into every word that she speaks, every live, every situation that has happened in the African community, that has happened in Ward 3, then she's chosen to go out and speak on it, unafraid, unashamed, and not caring what, I'm not backing down. I'm not backing down off of what I believe. I'm not backing down off of what I have learned, off of what I know. I'm not backing down off of any of it. I'm not afraid. And then she knew that she had this whole movement behind her. Yes. And so I want to bring to the stage now the candidate for Ward 3, Kalumbayi. Let me say it like the band. Kalumbayi.
I've been sitting there. I know most people know that I don't write speeches, so y'all know I didn't write no speech. But usually, in my head, I lay out a format, but I couldn't. I've been trying to do this for a while. I want to take my time, so I don't know how much time, because I probably blow it today, because I want to get out everything that I feel that is very important, because we just made history. We history, and a lot of times when history or our past and what happens in our life, or when we think about our history, it's just been things been done to us. But we've been involved and struggled together, creating a new history. And so I really just want to breathe in that moment. I want to capture that moment because we can't be defeated. I remember Deputy Chair had was going back and forth with the person that I ran against, and she said, "We can't be defeated. Like, are you a clown? We can't be defeated. Like, we in this for life." Yes. Like, we signed on the dotted line and said that African people, Black people, or if you're confused about who you are, I'm gonna be very clear. I'm talking about all the residents in the 3rd Ward, North Side, Black people all over, wherever hole you in, from Jamaica to Africa, the 3rd Ward, 5th Ward, whatever. Melanated people, you are African. So, you know, so Black people, you know, we have said that Black people gotta be free. I don't have a hidden agenda. That is my agenda. Right. My agenda is that Black people deserve the best. This whole campaign from the beginning, because this campaign started way before we announced. Yes. You know, this campaign started long before then. The Uhuru movement, it started on August 9th when they took Mike Brown's life. And as everybody was scattering around trying to figure out what to do and coming up with new slogans that led us nowhere, like Black Lives Matter, led us nowhere, led us absolutely nowhere, or hands up, don't shoot, when it wasn't popular to criticize stuff when it's not taking the movement nowhere. Because the Black struggle has been murdered, killed from the 60s, that we had a whole generation that had no memory of struggle. We say this, but do you really actually understand what that looks like in your life? When somebody have not taught you how to fight back, have not taught you who your enemy is or what we're really up against. So we all, at one point, fell to the wayside and believed in racism and thought that our biggest problem was because white people didn't like us. But then August 9th, when Chairman Amalia Shatella, my proud leadership, that I stand very excited, will never change my statement, that I am excited for every word that comes out of my mouth, I credit it to Chairman Amalia Shatella. And when he came and he said, we're not fighting racism, we're fighting colonialism. I'm like, what is colonialism? And then I looked the word up because I heard him explain it and it sounded real good, but talk is cheap, you know? So I went and I Googled it and see what do colonialism mean? And I was blown away. I said, oh my God, this is me. This is my dad. This is my mom. This is my brothers. This is the curse that I thought was on my life, colonialism. I've been cursed by colonialism. Yeah. Oh my God, this is the curse. So we understood we wasn't fighting racism. We don't have to fight ideas in white people's head. So I don't have a color politic. My politic is that I'm fighting colonialism in any shape, form it comes in. I don't care if it comes in black face, white face, green face, blue face. Colonialism in any shape or form is dangerous to humanity. So, you know, I learned a little something after Mike Brown was here. I told you this process had began because I'm just a girl from Walnut Park, from the hood. Like my sister said, that I probably say a whole bunch of words the wrong way. And then I have the nerves to try to talk proper sometimes, but I'm still saying words the wrong way. Have you fooled for a minute, but then you come on out and you're like, oh, okay. But most of us Black people, to be honest, that's what we learn to do. We learn to tap dance, move, think, for white people to feel comfortable with us. And I am proud to being the people's candidate for the 3rd ward. This truly was our campaign. You've seen it. You've seen that it wasn't some magical person. It wasn't that I woke up and said, I'm so great, I need to save 3rd ward. No, it didn't happen like that. It was a process. It was men, women, and organization. It's no way out of this mess without organization. The very thing that they want to attack every single time is because they know that that is the cure. They know that's the cure, so that's why they attack it. They attack it. And that's the slander that they said. Oh, she's a part of that organization. Yes, I am a part of that organization that has been around for 50 years, leading this struggle, building real concrete economic development in the Black community, in the hands of Black people, led by Black people. And the reason why I can say it, because I have made it to the highest body of the NCC, that I sit over and look over every report, every document of who does what and hold them accountable to it. I, Herdosha Columbai, the girl from Walnut Park that they said could never be anything, sits on the highest body of an international organization. So when you slander, that's exactly what it is, because I know exactly what I joined. Because when y'all go out and join the Democrat Party, I just don't know if y'all knew, but it's led by white people. So if you have a problem with white organizations, you might want to write the Democrat Party and tell them that you resign now. Because these are white people that you don't have control over. These are white people that you save money and they agenda all the time on the people. On the people. But my comrade Chichara said something very important that I just want to deepen. African people have been pushed, shoved out of political life. That's why Mike Brown died in the street. That's why every sellout, every person had eyes on Ferguson and seen dollar signs when we seen pain. And then they dump money. Why would the billionaire dump money into Ferguson? He don't have any stake in seeing African people free because he couldn't be a billionaire no more. Because the only way you're a billionaire is because we have capitalism. Yeah. So why would he do that? Because he had to change the agenda. They can't let you understand that you colonize. They can't let you ever build the Black Panthers, a black movement that is really struggling with a political analysis of exactly what's happening with us. They can't let you do that. So they had to dump money into Ferguson. Right. But the African People's Socialist Party, they building a machine too. So the Democratic Party, we got a machine too. And that mug don't sleep, okay? That mug be kicking. So the African People's Socialist Party say, okay, Ferguson happened. We got to dump money too. Right on. Okay, we gotta build. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get our soldiers ready. We gotta help them understand who they are. Because there's no way that I could ever stood before, because y'all, I'm not a public speaker. Everything in the world had told me not to ever be comfortable with a mic, up here with a mic. You know, like, that's not what I do. But I was built to do it because I believe Black people deserve to be free. I believe that Black people will be free. And I have a party that I learned so much. I learned who I was. I learned to love myself. I learned to look in the mirror and be honest about who I am and be proud of that. Man, y'all, that's big. Yes, it is. Because our community can't look in the mirror. And when they do, they don't know who they're looking at. Yeah. But what we did in this campaign is build a social movement. What does that mean? We knocked these doors and we told the people who they are and who their enemy is and exactly who's taking advantage of them. We told them exactly how to hold a person that holds a seat accountable. My mind is all over the place. Conversation I had with my cousin, she said, no matter what happened tonight, cuz we won. And I love the fact that she said we. She said, you have made an impact on the 3rd Ward and the whole community. She said, it started up a stir. You know what happened when the stir happened? Everything started just going, people started to get chaotic. She said, you know, a better example is, you know how you got roaches and you play like you don't have none and you don't want your friend to turn on the light because what happened when you turn on the light?
Run everywhere.
The roaches scattered.
Yeah.
So we don't turn on the light to the neo-colonial puppets and they scattering. They are scattering right now. So even when they supposed to be, you know, celebrating their victory, they don't know what to do because we exposed them and they don't have to work like they never had to do before because of what we did, the people. So I want to salute and appreciate Chairman Amala Yeshitela in his own right. I want to hand him his flower while he's alive. I'm not waiting till you deceased. I'm not waiting to then. I want to tell you right now that I appreciate you. I appreciate your struggle. I appreciate everything that you sacrificed, even when you don't even talk about it. I know you made sacrifice. I appreciate your stand. I appreciate your love for every Black child, even the ones that haven't been born yet, that you paved the way so they can have a future that look different than the one that you have. Thank you, Chairman Amala Yeshitela. The 3rd Ward, thank you on today. I really, really want to appreciate Deputy Chair Owner Zanae Yeshitela because y'all, this lady is fiery. And sometimes you stand too close, you will get burned, okay? She don't play, but it's a good burn, it's a revolutionary fire. You know what I'm saying? You gonna catch it. You know what I'm saying? She came here and I called the fire. You know what I'm saying? You gonna catch it because she want African people to be free. By any means. So if it means whatever it takes, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna struggle with you, Columbi. I want you to know, just like my auntie, I see Deputy Chair like that too. My auntie Marita, she tell me all the time, she said, if you could only see yourself through my eyes. She tell me that all the time, and that's how I feel about Deputy Chair. If I could only see myself how Deputy Chair see me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really appreciate when I see you, I see a person that can do anything, and I can't give up. So I appreciate you being an African woman and standing with so much integrity and to show us that we can be business women. You know what I'm saying? That it's not a part of capitalism stepping on our people, not petty, but we can be ones that are African internationalists, taking care of business, going to the bank, putting our money. I love it. I love it. I learned so much from her. Even when she probably didn't know I was watching you. And I thank you because you are an example that I want my daughters and daughters all over the world to be able to see an example of what it means to be an African warrior.
Yes.
And Dave and Chimaranga knows how I feel about him. I appreciate him so much. This campaign will flop without Chimaranga. Y'all, I am horrible. Chimaranga made me look good. I promise you. Like, I am something to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that. And he dealt with me with such grace. You know what I'm saying? He dealt with me with such grace. He helped me to develop how to hold the line to answer a question in 3 minutes. Do y'all know how hard it is to answer a question in 3 minutes? I'm blowing it right now. Y'all probably bored. And I'm still talking because I've been having to talk in 3 minutes for so long that I'm just going to just keep talking. Because I don't have to do 2 minutes. Who came up with that? Shoot. The Democrat Party. Exactly. Because they don't even have a program. So give me 3 seconds so you know what I really have to say. Virgin died. No, she didn't. Walk through this door. Maxine Johnson, come on. Maxine Johnson, Adrian, Angelica, Daniel, Jordan, Ashanti, Fofi, everybody on Facebook. I appreciate the 3rd Ward. Let's give it up for all the residents in the 3rd Ward. Give it up for the 3rd Ward. I truly love the 3rd Ward. I do. wanted to vote, but they can't vote. Why? Because they don't stay in their record. And so now they can't vote because they on papers. It was people that wanted to vote, but they sick on heroin. Yeah. These are facts in our community. They are residents that we have to care about. They deserve a chance. So I appreciate you. Yes. You know what? When you've been taught to eat bad, it is very hard to eat something good. And when we was going to the door, we was giving people the good news. Amen. Yes. Amen. But they've been eating bad for so long. Discussion. But we planted the seed. Now it's our responsibility to water that seed. We have to organize. We have to be in the faith. We have to be at the town hall meetings. We have to hold ourselves accountable because we don't need nothing associated with our name to do the work. We have to do the work. We have to organize. We have to continue to have these conversations. We're going to be having the One Africa, One Nation marketplace. Yes. So excited about the One Africa because the people have to see a way to be able to feed, clothes, and house themselves. This is things that people have to see, tangible things that they can touch so they can believe and see a future for themselves. When you ain't seen one for so long, you scared of what's on the other side. So the One Africa, One Nation marketplace, the former market where people can come and get their goods, good food, socialize, culture, buy some pictures and paintings, selling and trading amongst ourselves, give them a glimpse of what we can have. So I'm so excited for the One Africa, One Nation marketplace. Be looking out for it. I'm gonna keep shouting it out because that's important. Because that's why I'm a part of this movement. Because we ain't talk, we about action. Yes. Not talking, action. Because one of my favorite Bible scriptures is faith without works is dead. If you ain't working towards it, then it's dead. You can pray till you blue in the face, but if you ain't planning to get up off the knees and work towards what you trying to bring into your life, then you just talking. You just talking. And you don't even believe that it's gonna happen. Because when you pray, you just said what you want, then you should have got up with a plan, with a POA, a plan of action. So you need to, maybe you need to get up and start writing plan of actions. If you get something done, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand, faith without works is dead. If we have faith in the third ward, if we have faith in God, that is perfect, that is righteous, that is it's the righteous responsibility of the righteous children to stand up and fight against oppression. Fight against oppression. He can't be okay with 40 years of you backbiting, taking people homes and using and pocketing your pocket. It ain't no way. I don't care if you going to that church and you like him. That ain't right. So we won in so many ways. We won in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? We won. Yes. We won because like I was saying, in the 60s, when the black struggle came up and they killed Malcolm, they killed Martin Luther King, they murdered them. I wanted you to understand, they didn't just die of high blood pressure. They died because they was murdered. They murdered them, okay? They assassinate their character. And even to these days, you will see a movie or a documentary come up for them to continue to try to assassinate who these people were, because they can't let you study them for the natural who they were and what it meant, so you can move that process forward. They know that. So it's time for us to organize. We can't be afraid of our own power. We have to say that we are owed reparations. They told me, if you keep saying black power, girl, you ain't gonna, girl, you can't. Listen, if winning means for me to stop saying black power, I don't want to win. I don't. If you want me to, well, separate yourself. No, I am a proud member of the African People's Socialist Party. I am the international president of the International People's Democratic Movement, and my career is fighting for the liberation of my people. That is my career. That is my passion. And that's what I believe in. And I thank my mom. I thank you, Ali Washington. I thank you. I really appreciate the way you raised me.
Amen. Amen.
I appreciate it. I appreciate every struggle. I appreciate Eric Von Washington, my father. Today is April 6th, 1969. My parents walked down the aisle on Sarah and Cook, because you know they say I ain't from St. Louis. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little history lesson on how it all started. With a man named Eric Washington from St. Louis, Missouri, and a woman named Ali Washington from St. Louis, Missouri. On April 6, 1969, on Sarah and Cook at Pentecostal Temple, they got married.
Amen.
And today, we made 52 years.
Amen.
My mom, you still got 52 years.
Amen.
Because you still dedicated and love your husband.
Yes. Amen.
I appreciate that. I love that. And I thank them on today. And I really appreciate my grandma that moved to St. Louis, Missouri from Clarksdale, Mississippi in 1948. I learned that little fun fact at the parade. My grandma came, shocked me because she's 96 years old.
Wow, amen.
And my grandma was sitting in my auntie car, her youngest daughter car, and I was just blown away. I was just blown away. My grandma moved here from Clarksdale, Mississippi in 1948. And she bought her first home in the first ward in Walnut Park on Geraldine and Bertram. That still sit there today. And my grandma, when she came to the parade, she said, granddaughter, she called me my peaches. She always say my peaches. She said, my peaches. She said, I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
She said, don't give up. She said, because that white man don't want to let us go.
Amen.
She said, and I know that. She said, but don't you give up. I'm not going to give up, Grandma. My comrades won't let me give up. And I appreciate all my comrades, international, the ones that was able to actually travel here, and the ones that, you know, was far, that been on Kundai. I mean, I can't get on Facebook. I'm like, girl, I mean, if she got me a Bluetooth on the phone or something, I don't know how she always know when I'm live. You know, she's always there sharing and commenting. I appreciate you, because the struggle in the third ward is the struggle that Black people are facing all over the world.
Absolutely.
It is. And it constantly wanted to tell us that we had to just, you know, just don't talk about don't talk about the international stuff, you know, and things. But you know what we seen in the last debate that I participated in with other candidates, all of them said that I'm fighting for the whole city.
Amen.
Even the ones on the south side was saying, I'm fighting for the north side too, the south side, every side. We fighting for all sides. You know, these are the kind of, that's not small, but we force people to understand that we all connected, that we have to be concerned. You know, so a lot of times you live in the third ward and right across is your auntie or your cousin in the 21st ward. You have to have conversations with them, because all the people, we need to run in every ward.
Amen.
Because we see what the north side looking like. Yeah. I don't know who needs that job for real.
Amen.
You know, and I also seen you know, when we first started this, people really thought we were low, because we had a platform which was different. Because in St. Louis, a lot of times people can just talk about who they are and how nice I am and things like that, and don't really have to say, you know, reparations, boom, 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 boom. Like that was just really flabbergasting the people that we would do that. And then also that we wasn't afraid to say that you sold the people out.
All right.
And for some reason, I want to teach a lesson. Can I teach one second? Okay. So when you explain something that is a fact, that is true, like 40 years you've been the alder person, and in that 40 years, you knew that you had dementia, and you allowed your loved one to stay in that position even though they wasn't in their right mind. That's a problem. 40 years while you were in office, eminent domain and blocking our communities happened a lot under your leadership. These are facts, not slander. Okay, slander is you look on my page and see that I said that I had struggled with reading, and then you say, how you gonna vote for her? She can't read. That's slander.
That's slander. Thank you.
You call an attorney and you sue me because you allege that I don't qualify for running for office because I don't own property, when you fully understand that that's going against my 14th Amendment right, because you claim you know all the amendments and everything. That's what you proud yourself on. When you sue me, that's using dirty politics. That is slander. I just wanted to teach that because some of us are very confused about what's slander and what's not slander. Okay, we told truths. You closed down a business owner. You closed him down. You a black business that been in your ward for how many years, Kay? 44 years. The whole time that you've been in power, this business have served the third ward community. And you didn't come and say, great job. I know it's hard under colonialism for a black man to keep a business, to pay his taxes, and keep his doors open. You did that, and I'm proud of you. As an alder person, I'm about to give you a plaque, or how can I fix some sidewalks, or do you need some resources to fix something in here? No, you came and you said, I'm closing you down. That's not slander, boo. That is facts. That's not slander. That's facts. That is a crime. Yes, that is corruption. When people in the community have said, I lost my home to the Bosleys, that is a dynasty that we dealing with.
That's right.
When people are afraid,
oppressed.
Oppressed and scared to put a sign up because they know that tomorrow you're going to be sending an inspector to their business or to their house. This is a crime.
Facts. That's a fact.
And you can't keep getting away with it. You're not going to keep getting away with it. So, like Chitara, it's a political question. All of y'all have a friend in the Huru movement, but to be a member, I'm gonna need you to pay a membership. Let me tell you why. Because when you pay, whatever you pay into, you believe in it. You see what I'm saying? And that's important. Because we can't have no weak links amongst us. We can't. Not out here, because today I don't see county insurgency like I don't know, through this whole campaign. But the lies and they did this, and I know that my poll workers didn't get paid. They volunteered. Poll workers saying, yeah, I'm just here for $100. I ain't with all that. They ain't never did nothing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But we don't do gossip. You can't find now one of my poll workers that said, oh yeah, I'm just here for $100. Somebody, she ain't real, she fake. No, because they was here because they believe. They believe in change. They believe in righteousness. They believe that black people deserve the best. The third ward, everybody in the third ward deserves the best. And I say it's a percentage of white people. And I appreciate the white people that heard us. I really want to pack it up for them in the third ward. We had white supporters, and we said black power. We said all white people, even poor white people, all reparations. And they said, I believe in the change because I believe in humanity. and what you speak of is truth.
Amen.
And I want to be on the right side of history. So give it up to the white people that said, I'm not going to be complacent no more. I don't have to be the center of attention. You don't have to put me in the middle for me to be important. You can say black because the ward is 94% black. Why would you not? You know what I'm saying? And the oppression that I experienced from living in this ward is because of what they're doing to black people, not me. Because where I moved at, where people like me live at, they don't experience what you experience. So I agree with you, Columbi. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Because with stances like that, humanity can't be nothing but liberated. Because the whole country suffered, the whole world suffered under this kind of leadership, under this kind of thing that we experience, colonialism.
Racism.
You know, that's what we experience. Now I know I don't talk too long. I'm gonna take my seat, as my grandma would say. I'm gonna take my seat. And Tiffany started, so Tiffany, you better help me with this one. Now the first song, This Little Light of Mine,
Amen.
my grandma used to sing that song. That was her song. You know what I'm saying? To be a light in this dark world. That's what she would tell us all the time. You be a light in the darkness. Don't just go into the dark and be dark. Be the light. And so when we came and we knocked on doors and when we put out our line, we was the light in a dark, dark third ward.
Amen.
And 21st ward.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to attempt to sing a song as I sit down. And India and Tiffany, y'all better help me because I really can't sing.
That's all right.
And it's another song that my grandma is singing. I don't know why I probably didn't know my grandma was borderline a revolutionary. No, she's a sing. You got ready? Victory, victory shall be mine. Change. Let's go out there and organize them. Let's turn them all into members.
The leader of the African nation, the visionary behind all of this, the dialectical materialist extraordinaire, Kevin O'Malley Yosakala.
This little backwards town, I'm gonna turn it round. This little backwards town, I'm gonna turn it round. This little backwards town, I'm gonna turn it round, turn it round. Turn it round, turn it round. Starting with Ward 3, I'm gonna turn it round. Starting with Ward 3, we gonna turn it round. Starting with Ward 3, we gonna turn it round. Turn it round, upside down, turn it round. All right. Uhuru. Uhuru, brothers and sisters and comrades. First thing I would like to do is to give my condolences to Kalumbai and her family for the loss of her grandmother, and also for reminding us, of this incredible several generations of African women and families who have stood up and involved ourselves in this struggle. And I'm reminded also of the family of Sister Nzeyi, 3 generations. And then I'm reminded also of the family of the Bosleys. Here, a Bosley family in a gilded cage, more or less, with wealth, 44 years of control, like some black mafioso of the 3rd Ward, and who would condemn our candidates because they say she is an angry black woman. And what Comrade Herdosha Kalumbai Bentham has done is say, yeah, it's all right. I'm an angry black woman because I'm oppressed and I'm a part of an oppressed population, and you're not going to be able to push me out of my discussion by calling me an angry black woman. And he's the one who says that, well, she is not qualified because she doesn't own property. And the fact of the matter is, how many African people are without property? If you look at any of the statistics, one part of what you will learn is majority of African people are not property owners. And the second thing that you would learn is that in St. Louis, one of the reasons Africans are without property is because it's been taken from us, and it's been taken from us by the same big developers that support Bosley and help keep the Bosley family in power up to now. And then that is the reality that we're confronted with. They actually sued Comrade Kalumbai, and it goes back to even that old black code kind of politic that existed in places in Mississippi, like Clarksdale, where a grandmother comes from, where in order to be able to vote, you had to own property, you had to pay poll taxes. They said she didn't pay taxes. That was something that the whole revolutionary movement of the 1960s and the 50s was all about. That's what Martin Luther King, that's why he risked his life down in the South, getting rid of that kind of politics. That's the kind of situation that chased Kalumbai's grandmother out of Mississippi into St. Louis. And so many of our other parents and grandparents were chased out of places like that because of those same kinds of questions. And now where somebody has the right to vote, like in St. Louis, and they have a right to run for office, and in St. Louis, you see a whole dynasties of Black people who have come to power, and they exercise power against the Black working people in the same way that the white rulers had done in the South and have done throughout this country and around the world. So I'm extraordinarily proud of what has happened now, and to be associated with this family of incredibly powerful African women, powerful African families, generations of whom have had to endure the kinds of oppression and exploitation that's been facilitated by people like the Bosleys and the Mohammeds in War 21. So congratulations. And the fact is that we are winning and that this is ours. And what has happened, so much has already been said. I feel redundant about saying anything. We had this incredible, these incredible presentations by everybody who's come before us. And when I met Comrade Kalumbai, she had no idea about the electoral system or idea about the politics in general. She just knew that Black people was in pain. And that's why she was in a march when I first met her in Ferguson, St. Louis, Missouri, trying to deal with the murder of Mike Brown, because there's so many of us murdered. Mike Brown was not her relative. She was there because she saw that as something that was happening to us as a people. She was there. And that's when I met her. And unlike so many other people who were there, she wasn't just there for that moment. That was in 2014 when I met her, in August 2014. And she's still there in March, April 2021. So she's still there. She's still there after all of the excitement around Ferguson, St. Louis has gone away. because she came to understand that the question is bigger than the death of a single individual. That individual died because he was colonized. He suffers the same kind of oppression that African people suffer. He suffered the same kind of oppression that her two brothers suffered, who died from horizontal violence there in St. Louis. This is the kind of consciousness that came about as a consequence of our creating a real kind of movement there in St. Louis. And so I'm proud of that process. And I'm proud of the fact that she and T'Challa became parts of this movement. They were not paid. They were not getting paid to do this. They became a part of this movement, and they helped to build economic development. We had politicians in Ward 21 and in Ward 3. Politicians who right there where the levers of power are located, right there who they know these rich people. In fact, they brag about the fact that they know rich people. And one, Muhammad threatens that he would do damage to anybody. He'd ravage the community if anybody said anything about this rich white man that he's talking about. And then you had Bosley and Muhammad, who were willing to support spy planes being put all over the African community. Muhammad, who would actually be involved in having cops doing drills and things like that in the African community, and Bosley calling on the National Guards on our community, the same National Guards that's been sent to places like Iraq to kill people there. He is saying that they'll use those same forces against us. This is what we brought into this whole struggle. We said we are not going to sit by and watch this happen, and it's important that we come out here today. Today is April 6th. It is 2 days after the anniversary of the murder of Martin Luther King in 1968. It is the same date that little Bobby Hutton from the Black Panther Party was murdered in Oakland, California. It is a part of the same period that Malcolm X was killed, Martin Luther King was killed, that period that we're talking about now. Medgar Evers was killed. The fact is, a whole war was made against Black people simply because we wanted some freedom. And you can't say that. You might have disagreement with Malcolm X, some people might, but they can't say that Martin Luther King was about anything but nonviolence. He was talking about trying to do something for our people. He was talking about a poor people's campaign. That's what he was organizing when they killed him. And so we had Malcolm X, who was fighting against colonialism. We had the Black Panther Party fighting against colonialism for our own power and our own interests. And they murdered them and took their lives, and they were killing Black people and other oppressed people all around the world. This is the kind of social system that these courageous comrades, Kalambayi and T'Challa, went up against. They knew they were going up against a monster. And they knew they were going up against a monster. They had no experience themselves running for office. They didn't come from a family of some dynastic family where everything was handed to them, that they didn't have to work for it. They knew that what they were up against. They didn't come from a family that had enough power to have the police come and shut down Black businesses or open up Black businesses. They took it on by themselves. And in so doing, they set an extraordinary example. And they helped the people to understand several things that's really important, that makes it possible for us to talk about this great victory, and for us to say, like we did right after the primaries, that it ain't over. And like Sister Makeda said just a few minutes ago, it ain't over. It still ain't over. And they're stupid if they don't understand that, because we have built a social movement. Our objective was not simply to get elected. Getting elected obviously doesn't have to mean anything if you take Bosley and if you take Muhammad as examples. What has to happen is the power has to be given to the people, the power to understand their reality. And they have to have examples of the kind of courage that it takes to go up against these forces, even if they have this ability to threaten us. And they do threaten us, and they do take people's property, and they do send the police on us. They do all these kinds of things to us, but we set an example. So here is this woman that Bosley said can't read, and that's why she shouldn't be supported. He says she can't read, but she gave him the run for his life, terrified him. You saw Bosley acting like some kind of wounded child, almost dropping to the ground doing everything except kicking his feet like a spoiled brat would do when he came out to the polling place today, threatening, challenging, and slandering Comrade Kalambayi, talking to young people who were going in to vote for her. So this campaign showed people that you can go up against them. Lightning will not strike you. You can tell the truth. Set new terms for what politics can look like, how people can stand up for our rights and don't be afraid of it. And that we have a responsibility to do that. We set a whole new terms for what politics will look like in St. Louis and much of the country and much of the world. Because as has been mentioned, people in various places around the world were watching, and somehow, if they could, they were giving support to this campaign. It's a social movement. It's not a movement just to get somebody elected in office. It's a movement to get somebody free, to get our people free, and to change the world that has been created based on the enslavement of African people and the exploitation of the vast majority of the peoples of the world. St. Louis was this microcosm. It was this place where this magnificent experiment was going on by the black woman, the angry black woman who Bosley said can't read, who was walking and knocking on doors and organizing African people and giving them inspiration and helping them to understand that this is what we can do. And not only can we do this in general terms, but angry black women can do it, have a responsibility to do it, have a right to do it. And so this was a magnificent victory, more than what Bosley would ever understand. And it may even take a day or two for us to completely get the significance of what we have taken on. That kind of leadership, that kind of organization that we put before the people. So that's incredible. And we succeeded in pulling people into independent political life. I want to say, brothers and sisters and comrades, one of the things that was significant to me about us being able to say that it ain't over is because the statement is bigger than just this election that we're talking about. The reason we say that black is back when we ran in the 21st war, the reason that we say that revolutionary times, revolutionary solutions, is because this government killed the Black Revolution. That's what they were doing when they were killing King, when they were killing Malcolm X, when they were killing Medgar Evers, when they were destroying our movement. That's what they did as a condition for even being able to allow us to vote. We got the right to vote in 1965. 1965 is when the Voting Rights Act was passed. But at the same time, they were saying you could vote to kill Malcolm. Shortly after they killed King, they killed 30 members of the Black Panther Party in 1968 alone. They were assassinating, murdering Black people. So about the time they finished killing them, then there was nothing for us to vote for. We had no program. They destroyed the program that Malcolm, they destroyed the leaders and the organizations that we had. And then the only thing we had left was the Democratic Party. We had the Democratic Party, and we had those persons who were put in place by the white rulers themselves, like the Bosleys. They would put them in place. They're Black people, and we at that time had some illusion that being Black was enough. That if they are Black, that means that they're going to bring some success to us. But all you got to do is look all over the Black world. You see all over Africa, all over the Caribbean, that you see what this government did was murder leaders like Patrice Lumumba, overthrow leaders like Kwame Nkrumah, and kill people all around the world, and then put Uncle Toms, put these neo-colonial, these sellouts in their place. And then you got Black faces, but there's white, this is white power in Black face. That's what exists in War 3. That's what exists in War 21. That's what we were up against, and have succeeded in helping the people to break out of that, generally speaking, out of that mindset. So some people, we knocked on more than 10,000 doors, 400 and some odd phone calls that we were making just War 3 alone. And all the robocalls, just the incredible amount of work, that incredible organization that we put on the ground. And because the tradition is the Democratic Party, they destroy your revolutionary organization, they destroy the Black Panther Party, and then they give you the Democratic Party. And so what you're stuck with in St. Louis, just like in so many other places around the country, they got this machine that's in place, and they keep the majority of Black people from even participating in the electoral process. They say, why won't Black people vote? The reason Black people won't vote is because there's nothing to vote for, except for Bosley, except for Muhammad, because when we try to put something on the agenda, they kill him. They kill Malcolm, they kill King and Black Panther Party members and people like that who were fighting for our freedom, so that there's nothing to vote for. That's what they want, push us out of political life. And then they complain that you won't vote because the only thing you got to vote is for the Democratic Party. The only thing you got to vote is for their program, to make sure that your program doesn't get on the ground. But guess what just happened? Just happened in St. Louis. We said, Black is back. And we put a Black program on there. We put a program on that they thought they had shot out of existence. We put a program that they thought they had assassinated out of existence. We put a program there that they thought they had jailed out of existence. The fact of the matter is that reparations was something that was talked about in this election. Reparations, you owe Black people, you stole us. We built this country and we got nothing for it but misery and police terror, because you have to use police terror in order to maintain the status that you put us in. This is what they put us in. But we had a campaign that said reparations. Give us reparations. We didn't say that as just some abstract demand, Brother Daniel, that somebody might be able to talk about. We said, we want that property back that you stole from us, that you now have in this so-called property bank. The LRA should be something that goes to Land Reparations Agency, that give us our property back. You took it from us. You used all kinds of treachery, taxes, code enforcement, all those things that take our property back, take our property from us. And we want it back. Reparations, pay us reparations. And not only do we want it back, we want the kinds of resources that should go into the development of those properties so that they serve our community and not the Paul McKees and not this global spy agency that you put in our community by taking something like 1,000 acres of land, chasing out more than 100 families from that area. We want it back. We want the ability to control our own destiny. We want economic development. And you know that she's not lying, and Kalambayi and T'Challa, when they say we want economic development, because they didn't wait for the government to do it. They've been doing it independently, right down 4101 West Florissant Street. We couldn't even get a pavement, the sidewalk paved from the alderperson, the 21st Ward alderperson, not even a sidewalk. We did it ourselves. And not only did we do that, we had this person from the 21st Ward, Muhammad, actually protested and that the fact that we were putting up a sign, a lighted sign that says, this is what we have. They're upset because we are creating a farmer's market. They talk about a food desert in the 3rd Ward, a food desert in the 21st Ward. Well, it's not going to be a desert anymore because of the work that people like Comrade Kalambayi and the work that T'Challa have done and are doing right now. Where we are bringing food, that we bring in a farmer's market. We're setting up a place where African people can have our own marketplace. These are the people who are building the workforce program, African International Workforce Program. So these African people, they stick in these prisons, who people like Muhammad and Bosley help to stick in the prisons, who, if they're not stuck in that workhouse that both of them support, there's a place where they can come when they get out of prison in this workforce program. Right now, comrades T'Challa and Kalambayi, we've purchased a fourplex where we're going to house these people, and they're going to be able to learn culinary skills. They can learn how to be cooks. They can learn how to run businesses associated with culinary, where there's an Uhuru Bakery Cafe that's being constructed right now, a separate professional kitchen that's being created so that people will have a place where they can set up their own businesses and they can learn how to do it. This is what these comrades are doing. They're not even in office. They don't have the benefit of the city government. In fact, the city government works against us. They've done it up to now, but we've changed the equation on the ground. People ain't scared of Bosley no more. Some people were frightened. I know that. But generally speaking, we've created a movement of people who are willing to go up against the dynasty, to go up against this guy, Muhammad, who are willing to tell the truth, who've seen us tell the truth and see telling the truth, in fact, as something that forwarded the whole movement. It gave them something they can feel good about themselves now because they don't have to act like cowards. Everybody, some of them were cowardly. We saw that. We saw people who would whisper to us. We heard people who were big shot business people who said, I can't put up the sign because if Bosley knows it's going to do something to my business, that kind of thing. But not that angry Black woman. Not T'Challa Masimba, not the people who are actually committed to overturning this relationship, not the people who have organization. I just want to say a couple of things. One, this lie about the white people own the entities that we have existed, created as the party. This is nonsense. And what's so pathetic about it, here you have cats like Muhammad and Bosley, who brag about taking money from the white man, who brag about it. And then on the one hand, this is what they do, and they do it. I mean, here's Muhammad saying he's going to make war against anybody in the African community who says something about this one guy. And then you have Bosley who's saying that he wants to be able to have the spy planes coming over our community so he can learn how to billionaire mix money. So he's getting in bed with him. He's in bed with him already. And then they're going to say, that a white woman owns our businesses. And how in the hell is it that here we are fighting for Black people and creating Black institutions and creating Black farmers market, creating a place where Black people can come and create industry where money can circulate in our community as opposed to going out on a regular basis. And then these guys, what they do is send the people's money to the Paul McKeeses, to the big white developers, to all of these forces. And somebody said it before that one reason you know that the white people don't own it, because if the white people own these institutions, then Muhammad and Bosley would have been on their bellies giving them stuff, giving us stuff the same way they've given it to those other white people who they really work for. So I wanted to say that. And I also want to say, I appreciate what Comrade Kalambayi said about the white people who work and support what it is that we're doing, because what we've done is give them an opportunity to abandon the interests of the white ruling class, to abandon the interests of the colonizers, to unite in the struggle against colonialism under Black power. And the truth of the matter is there's some white people who come to understand that if there's a problem in the white community for white workers, Black people didn't do that. White power did that. And if there's a problem for oppression of women, white women, Black people didn't do that. White power did that. And if there are problems in the communities that we live in, it's based on the fact that white power exists and it has this capitalist system that rests upon the foundation of the oppression of Black people and other oppressed peoples around the world. And so they have come to understand that and unite with the fact that if they want to end their oppression, they need to be working under the leadership of the Black Revolution that has historically always fought against oppression. If there's any struggle that's happened against oppression in this country, it is Black people who've led that historically. We have redefined what democracy is supposed to be about as the consequence of the struggles that we've been involved in. So those white people are trying to get on the right side of history. And that's what's part of what's important about this movement too, because we gave permission for other white people to do the same thing, that they can recognize they can be on the right side of history, along with Comrade Kalambayi, along with Comrade T'Challa, along with the Uhuru movement. And Uhuru means freedom, by the way. And if you're against Uhuru, you certainly have a problem. So I just wanted to say that. I want to remind everybody here, again, of just the significance of knocking on those doors, talking to our people about reparations, talking to our people about Black community control of the police. The fact is, Black is back. And the fact is that we say it's revolutionary times. We need revolutionary solutions. It was revolution that they killed, that they tried to kill when they assassinated King and Malcolm and members of the Black Panther Party, when they killed a co-founder of the African People's Socialist Party, when they were putting me in and out of jail and prison on a regular basis in the 1960s. It was to kill this movement of the people, that would put the people in power as opposed to these major corporations, as opposed to these Negroes who represent white power. So that's something that is significant about this. And I'm reminded of this farce that they're having today, where this guy, Derek Chauvin, who murdered George Floyd is on trial. We've gone through this before. We've seen it, I don't know how many times, and I don't know how many communities throughout this country. That's what brought me to St. Louis, the murder of Mike Brown. But the thing about what's happening with George Floyd that makes it different is that people saw it. It wasn't just something that happened on Canfield Drive, where the people in Canfield Drive saw it, where the people in St. Louis had the experience and rose up about it. They didn't see Mike Brown being murdered. Some people saw him there in the community who had been there for 4.5 hours. They didn't see it. They didn't experience it. So it was just a separate kind of incident that happened there, like it happened so many other places. But just that community really is the community that experienced it. And the same thing is true happens throughout this country. But the George Floyd, it was something that happened that we saw it. We saw the murder. And then after seeing the murder, we've seen several days of the trial. And we've seen young African women who says that how ashamed she was, how guilty she felt because she didn't do anything. We've seen a person who was a martial artist, a real tough guy, who said something as Chauvin was murdering George Floyd, but didn't do anything. And he almost cried on the witness stand, saying how helpless he felt and how guilty because he didn't do anything. We saw a 60-some-odd-year-old man who was crying almost uncontrollably on the witness stand because he saw it and he didn't do anything. And I'm telling you right now that there are thousands, millions of African people who had that same experience. It was a collectivized experience. I had that experience when I'm listening to them testify, when I've seen that. You did too. And you were saying to yourself what I would have done and what I should have done. And I think I might have done such and such a thing. And the truth of the matter is, it's a whole new day. Doesn't matter what they do with Chauvin. I suspect they might even convict Chauvin because if they don't convict him, I think they see they have a profound contradiction, not just inside the United States, where there were 10,000 demonstrations, protests, and even uprisings in the 3 months following George Floyd's murder. And there were in more than 60 countries, there were demonstrations because people, all of us share this experience with colonialism and mostly at the hands of the United States. So they may feel compelled to do something. This whole image that they've created for themselves as being the city, the shining city on the hill or something to that effect, all of that's been shattered, and they may feel it necessary to do something. They gave the family $27 million already. They gave most of it to the lawyer, or much of it to the lawyer. And but the fact is that they may throw him under the bus. They may say, take him, because they're capable of doing that. Because the fact of the matter is they use Chauvin to keep us under control. They use the police to keep us under control. They got a farce going on now to pretend that there's something wrong with what Chauvin did. They got the prosecutor saying that ain't what we're supposed to do. They got chief of police saying, no, he broke all the rules. They give you the impression that some kind of rogue cop. When the fact of the matter is all the cops do that. They look at all the cops got the same kind of training all over the United States. If training were the question, if they was a matter of them following rules, all of them do the same thing. But that's the question. The thing is that there was a collective experience that we just had. And that means that next time, next week, tomorrow, next month, you're going to see more and more Black people who move forward when they see that kind of thing happen, and they're going to attack the cops. They're going to fight them in the streets and say, stop killing that man. They're going to take the initiative. And that's what you just gave those people in St. Louis an opportunity to do with this incredible movement that we have created. So more and more people whose doors that we knocked on, some of whom didn't do anything, some of whom didn't take this opportunity to fight back, that we presented them, that Columbi presented them. You can fight back. You can take a stance. Now, you don't even have to face a gun. You can go and vote. That's your way to fight back. Some of them did it. Some of them didn't do it, but some of them regretted that they didn't do it. And when they see Columbi did it, when they see T'Challa did it, and they see that the things that we've developed as a consequence of that, and they see that Bosley hasn't done anything, Muhammad hasn't done anything, I'm telling you, you'll see a new day, and people are going to be moving to deal with us. And this whole notion that they will require us to live in isolation. They say the outsiders came in. How the hell can I be an outsider? I'm an African catching the same hill in St. Louis that we are catching in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The same killers, the same process, the same state, the same government. And then you talk about we're the outsiders. And how can I be an outsider and Cruz not be an outsider? How can I be an outsider? Because I'm coming to work with my people, because I see the fundamental contradictions that I'm faced with as a Black person concentrated right there in St. Louis. And we have this opportunity, this magnificent opportunity to fight back. And you want them to be able to have to fight by themselves. What about Mississippi? What about all those other places that organizers went into to try to help our people get organized, because we understood as our responsibility and that we could win. And they would require us to be isolated, that somehow I'm kind of outside. I'll tell you who's the outsider. Bosley is the outsider. The Bosleys are the outsiders, the people who like the Columbais and T'Charas and the folk who live in the community. Those are the ones who really represent the interests of the community. So there's a whole new situation. And we see this whole incredible social movement coming together, and it's representing itself in organization. People see the power of organization. Somebody came up and said, this Uhuru movement is a machine. You damn right, it's a machine. It's organized to end the misery and oppression of African people. And we say that organization is absolutely necessary. This is what the Uhuru movement brought to the situation. They'll never be able to take that away from us. We'll never be isolated again. We're building a movement. We'll never be able to retreat back to that place where we have these misrepresentatives like the Bosleys, like the Mohammeds, who can get away with just saying anything and not doing anything to change the conditions that we experience on the people. It's a new day. And this incredible organization, these incredible forces who came from every place that they could come from, who rose up there in St. Louis, people who never engaged in electoral politics or any kind of politics in their life before, were given the ability to do that. And in the process of doing so, they were trying to change the world. And when they tried to change the world, they become changed themselves. This is the victory. We're not fighting again just to win an election. We're building a social movement. And this is what we see emerging right there in St. Louis. And it's something that energizes African people and oppressed people in various other places throughout the United States and around the world. So we said it before, I'm gonna say it again. We're winning. Uhuru.
Thank you, Chairman, for that profound presentation.
Yeah!
So I have some numbers for you. And before I read them, you really need to take notes of what the chairman said about our social movement being built and about what has happened with all the work that we did. So I'm gonna read you the numbers, but it don't mean nothing. Okay? It don't mean nothing. I'm just reading it because I'm reading it, okay? But it doesn't mean anything. Our movement is here and we're on the ground and the work is going forward. We have created a social movement here. We've talked about, I've heard everybody talk about going to church and everything. And I remember that scripture that my mother used to tell me about the kingdom of God suffer violence and the violent take it by force. It's because the African nation has been under siege. And we are here to help to take that to another level and take back what belongs to us. And so I'm just reading numbers, okay? All right. So let's see here. The vote came in and Columbia received 36.43% of the vote. I'm not even gonna read the other number. Y'all do the math. And then also we just want to just make a mention, just because we ran an award here, but Muhammad won in Ward 21, but that's all right. We taking that on too. All right. We will not be defeated.
Yes.
And Tashara Jones is the new mayor.
Yeah.
So before we close this out tonight, then we're going to take it back to church, and we're going to call on our comrade Akinye with the freedom song. Amen. And then the last words that we are going to hear is from our chairman, O'Malley Eshatella. And he's going to close us out and send us on and tell us our marching orders, because we're moving forward. It's not over. Amen. It's not over. Akinye.
Uhuru, comrades. This is the part where everybody gets to stand up, stretch your legs. If you can join me clapping, let's go. Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around, turn us around, turn us around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. We're gonna keep on talking, keep on fighting. We're gonna build a brand new world. Ain't gonna let gentrification turn us around, turn us around, turn us around. Ain't gonna let gentrification turn us around. We're gonna keep on talking, keep on fighting. We're gonna build a brand new world. Ain't gonna let no spy station turn us around, turn us around, turn us around. Ain't gonna let no spy station turn us around. We're gonna keep on talking, keep on fighting. We're gonna build a brand new world. Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around, turn us around, turn us around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, gonna keep on fighting, keep on fighting, gonna build a brand new world. Uhuru! Uhuru! We are winning!
Order, comrades. I just want to express again my appreciation to all of your comrades, to these incredible candidates, Sister Kalumbai, Brother T'Chawa, to this extraordinary campaign team, all of the people who participated, the volunteers, everybody, and especially those who managed and carried out the leadership of this campaign. You've heard them mentioned before, and all of them should have been mentioned just in terms of the hard work and the genius that they brought to this process, and many of whom learned about doing campaign work during these campaigns themselves. I wanted to just say that how much I appreciate the fact that we are able to memorialize Kalumbai's grandmother, and to speak so highly of her mother and her aunt, all of whom played such an important role. Her sister Tiffany, who played such important roles in this process. And again, I ask anybody to compare this family with the families that we're up against, because it wasn't just Bosley himself, it was his relatives, it was his mama and a sister, I understand, who we are actually involved in combat with, who actually came out. These are people who, many of whom hold political office, political power. They sit in these rarefied areas with our oppressors, and they work for them. So I look at Kalumbai's aunt and mother and grandmother and sister, and I know some of the struggles that these people have had to deal with, and I know the story of Kalumbai's brothers and her father and the hell that they've caught, for much of their lives, living in these wards that where we have had for a long period of time these Black politicians who presided over this misery, who helped to facilitate this misery. I appreciate the same thing. I appreciate. I know some of the families. I know Nzei. I know her mama. I know her grandmama. And just to see these three generations courageous women. I know her son. I know her daughter. Her husband T'Challa, who has this extraordinary partner. Who walked hand in hand with him in the process of waging this campaign, and then all his other forces. You've heard the names of some of them, Muwambi coming from San Diego, and the comrade who came out of Los Angeles, and comrades who came up, who are not there now, but came all the way from Huntsville, Alabama, and Timber, who's there from Florida, and Chimaranga, who came in from Florida, because that's our movement. And our oppressors have access to all kinds of resources, and all of the people who I just mentioned are working class people. They are not big shots. They are not people who own corporations or anything like that. And in fact, even when you look at the institutions owned by the Uhuru movement, the work that's being done, the farmers markets and the Uhuru Bakery and Cafe, and the workforce program and the basketball court that we are building, we intend to create there for our children. This is not coming from the government. We are building a basketball court for our children because we're tired of seeing them have to play in the streets with bicycle tire rims functioning as hoops and things like that. When they don't have to do that on the South Side, why would our children have to do that? Why would we have to live with this threat, this danger? And I know that the politicians like Bosley in particular, and some other people who are saying that, well, you can't put up a basketball court because it's too dangerous, because there's too much shooting, and there is shooting going on in our community. But the way you deal with that is to transform the community by providing the ability for the people to live decent lives, by creating the capacity for people to feed, clothe, and house ourselves, by bringing the kind of work, the institutions and programs that this campaign that we have entered into was designed to do. And these are the things that we are going to continue to do. And that's why I'm saying that anybody who actually thinks that we've lost this process is sorely mistaken. This is the battle that we've just encountered in this war of national liberation for our people. And we've seen the emergence of extraordinary heroic people to take it on. We've seen a reawakening of an African community that has been pushed into fearfulness, and pushed into some kind of a stupor because they've been dumbed down by the kind of inanities that passes as politics in St. Louis, where people don't even raise political questions. It's all around whether you like somebody or not. How you have politicians who can say that they're being slandered because somebody has exposed their corruption, exposed their relationship to our oppression as a people. There's a new day, and there's a reawakening that's happening in our communities. And some people came out courageously, heroically. They voted for us. That was an extraordinarily important thing. That's because these are revolutionary times, and people are looking for revolutionary solutions. There are people who are looking for revolutionary solutions. So many people, as already has been stated, have been pushed out, kept out of the electoral process, and so they haven't been able to find it there. But we offered them this opportunity in this particular election to move forward. And that means that part of what we continue to do is we help people to regain their confidence. We help people also to break out of that tradition of servitude to these puppets that work in the interest of our oppressor. And so we are winning this, and this was a great victory for us. We built an entirely new movement. We forged a real different kind of organization that employs masses of people into this process. And I'm very proud to have been associated with this aspect of it, to have played some kind of role in this component of it. And that I also want to send out, unite with all of what has been said about Comrade Deputy Chair Ona Zene Ishatella. Sometimes people might say that I'm saying this because she's my wife. I'm saying this despite the fact that she's my wife, because she left Florida to go to St. Louis to be there for 1 week to consolidate the Uhuru House that we have there, that you are now sitting in. That's what she was going to do. She ended up being there almost 2 years. and doing that work. She was there while I'm undergoing eye surgery and was immobilized in a very serious and bad way. And she was there doing that work. And she played not only that role to kickstart the Black Power blueprint that they fought the Bosleys and Muhammad fought tooth and nail to block it, to make sure it doesn't happen, because if it happens, then the people have the power, and the people recognize the power they can have. It's a different kind of program. It's not some false Black Wall Street, because Wall Street is what's sucking the blood out of the people every day. And this thing they call Black Wall Street is a poor imitation of what happened after slavery, that the white people bombed, the U.S. government bombed and destroyed, and hundreds of people were killed in 1921 in Oklahoma. So it's an entirely different kind of situation that they're talking about than what we experienced then. What we experienced then in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, which was the first military aerial bombardment that's happened in the world, happened right there, the second being in Nicaragua. That was to push us out of political life. That was to push us out of economic life. That's what Bosley and Muhammad are trying to make sure that is maintained today. The Black Wall Street they're talking about suggests that they're going to give a handful of Black people in St. Louis, buy them off, bring them into their company at the expense of the vast majority of our people. We're building something different, and the people will recognize that. And the more we do the work, and we're going to be doing the work every day, we've already opened up the door to a different kind of understanding, a different kind of movement. And the fact is, the future belongs to the people, and the people have access now to their own revolutionary political party in the form of the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement that functions under our leadership and the institutions that we are leading and creating. So just want to thank everybody and thank Comrades Kalambayi and T'Challa for the incredible courage that you demonstrated, because when we snatched you up and asked you to do this, you've never done it before. And you had no idea what it was going to take to do it, except we always recognized it's going to be tough and hard work, and you've met the challenge in a very splendid way. So Uhuru, we are winning, comrades.